All right. In this lesson, we're still talking about rounding, but this time we're going to use that read, draw, write strategy to solve a word problem, and we're going to use rounding to check our answer for reasonableness. So our learning target stays the same. I can round numbers to any place through the millions place. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead, let's read the problem, and then circling the numbers, underlining the question. So on Monday, Walmart sold 25,196 fidget spinners. On Tuesday, they sold 18,023 fidget spinners. On Wednesday, they sold even more fidget spinners. In all, that sounds important. In all, they sold 62,409 fidget spinners. How many fidget spinners did they sell on Wednesday? Okay, so we've got our question. We want to know how many fidget spinners did they sell on Wednesday. So we're going to start by drawing our tape diagram here. And we're going to kind of look at this question. How many sections do we need? Well, I know we've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we've got 3 sections here. So I'm going to go ahead and label those Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, and if I go back and read the question, on Monday they sold 25,196 fidget spinners. On Tuesday they sold 18,023. On Wednesday they sold even more. So it's not telling us how many they sold on Wednesday. That one's blank. It is saying in all, so all 3 of these together, so I'm going to do those brackets here, all 3 of these together, they sold 62,409 fidget spinners. So that's important there. That's the total. That's the total. So we're going to have a couple steps to solve this. The first thing is we have to figure out, well, how many have they sold already? What do we know? So I've got to add that Monday and that Tuesday together. So 25,196 plus 18,023. Making sure those place values are lined up. So 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. 1 plus 1 plus 0 is 2. 5 plus 8 is 13. Carry that 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. So this is for Monday and Tuesday. They've sold 43,219. So going back to the question, how many did they sell on Wednesday? Well, we know on Monday and Tuesday they've sold this many. And we know all together they've sold this many. So let's subtract to figure out what's left. So subtracting that total minus that 43,219. 9 minus 9 is 0. I can't do 0 minus 1 because I can't take 1 from 0. So I have to come borrow 1 from the 4 and make it a 3. Now I can make that 0 a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 3 minus 2 is 1. I can't do 2 minus 3. The larger number's on the bottom, so I've got to borrow. So the 6 will become a 5, and that 2 I can make into a 12. 12 minus 3 is 9, and 5 minus 4 is 1. So I get 19,190. So I'm going to write that equation. To get my answer, I subtracted 62,409 minus 43,219, and that equaled 19,190. So now I'm going to write my sentence. How many fidget spinners did they sell on Wednesday? So Walmart sold 19,190 fidget spinners on Wednesday. Okay, now here's the part that I want to talk about that's going to involve that rounding, is we're going to check for reasonableness. Is this 19,190 reasonable? And we're going to do that by rounding. So the first step we did here is we added these 2 numbers together. So before I add, I'm going to round them. So I'm going to round them to the largest place. So I'm going to round them to that 10,000 spot. So I'm going to look to the 5. 5 or greater, we round up, so that will become a 3, and then the rest will turn to 0. Looking at my 1, I'm going to look to the right. I've got an 8. That means my 1's going to turn to a 2. The rest will turn to 0. I'm going to go ahead and add them together, and I get a total of 50,000. So let's check that with what we got. And if we look up here, our answer was 43,219. That's pretty reasonable. That's pretty close. So I think I'm going to give ourselves a star there. I think we did a really nice job adding that. That means that our answer is reasonable. That means it's pretty close. So now let's check our subtracting. We did that 62,409, and we subtracted 43,219. So let's check for reasonableness, rounding to the largest place. So if I look to the 2, that means that it's below 5, so that I'm going to keep the 6 the same and turn the rest to 0. And when I look at the 4, I'm going to look to the number next, and I've got a 3, so that means I'm going to keep the 4 the same and turn the rest to 0. Now I'm just going to subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. So I get 20,000. So let's check that for reasonableness. 20,000 is pretty darn close to 19,000. So again, I think our answer's checked for reasonableness there. So rounding is really good to use to check to see if your answer is reasonable. Is it close? Does it make sense? And in this case, it definitely made sense. So this is one way that we will use rounding, so we can kind of check our answers for reasonableness.